The RitFit PLC01 leg extension and leg curl machine is super smooth. I've been absolutely loving this thing. I've been crushing some rest pause work, giant sets, and various drop sets on it for insanely brutal finisher work on my lower body days. This is gonna bulletproof my knees even further while adding some extra meat onto the old wheels. And I'll tell you, my legs have never been this pumped in my entire life. So be sure to stay tuned today as we do an in-depth review of this bad boy. You can find a link to the product in the description below. Discount code RF on Enkiri will get you 10% off all RitFit Sports products. Please remember to smash the like button and leave me some love in the comments as well. What's up, guys? Alec on Enkiri here, and I'm excited to announce that I recently received a banging new piece of equipment for my home gym, the RitFit Sports PLC01 dual leg extension and leg curl machine. I have been testing this unit extensively, and I've got some comprehensive thoughts on it. Some really good ones, some not quite as good ones, but overall, this thing is a solid piece of equipment, and I've been enjoying getting in some really productive work on it. So let's do a deep dive and let me give you guys my final opinion of it. Kicking off with the assembly process, and honestly, this one was a breeze. Everything was pretty straightforward, and I had the whole thing put together in just under an hour without any major headaches. There were no missing parts and no head-scratching moments trying to decipher vague instructions. Just a smooth and easy build. So really not much else to say there. The assembly was easy and straightforward. All the pieces went together seamlessly, and the instruction manual was crystal clear. So the PLC01 gets a full 2 out of 2 points for a smooth and easy assembly process. And now moving on to the build quality. So this is where things took a little bit of a hit, unfortunately. So the overall construction on the unit is solid for the most part, but there's one major issue that I can't quite overlook. So once you start loading the machine up past about 180 pounds or so, the brace that connects to the loading arm starts flexing and pulling up quite a bit due to all that cable tension. Now, the machine is rated for up to 375 pounds, but personally, I don't feel comfortable pushing it past 225, which is 5 standard 45-pound plates. I knocked out some leg extensions there. I did a set of 15 reps or something like that, and it felt great. But with how much play there is in that brace there, at that weight, I just don't feel comfortable going any heavier than that, than 225 pounds on the unit. Now, is it really necessary to go much heavier than that on leg curls or leg extensions? You could easily argue that it's not. I think we can all agree that I have pretty strong legs, and this weight is definitely challenging for me as it is. As well, these movements naturally lend themselves better to high rep work anyway. So it's not like you really need to be stacking plate after plate after plate onto this machine either way, not if you really want to get the most out of these particular movements anyway. My main concern, though, is that all that action with that brace kind of pulling up and flexing on you over and over again, crashing back down over and over again, is that, for one thing, it can really interrupt the flow and the rhythm of the set. You can see here, I got my music cranking in my ears, and so when the brace kind of smacks down onto the floor, I look over like, what the F was that? What just happened? And obviously, once you expect that to happen, you expect that to happen. But all that play and all that unnecessary movement, it still messes with the flow and the rhythm of the set. Now, this is not an immediate deal breaker for me. Like I said, the weights on there are still challenging, and I do really like this machine, and the work that I'm doing on it feels really great, which I'm going to touch on in more detail in just a minute. But my main concern with this bending and flexing is that over time, there may be some durability issues, right? Maybe you're going to end up permanently bending that brace, or worst case scenario, maybe it snaps completely. So that's really what my main concern with it is. The good news is, however, this is actually a really easy fix that RitFit can address in future models if they want to by adding an extra brace that connects the loading arm section of the machine to the seating section of the machine. They could even potentially release that fix or that update, whatever you want to call it, as an aftermarket piece for people who have already bought the machine. It might take a little bit of clever engineering to be able to figure out how to craft that onto an existing model, but I do personally think that it could be done. And with an extra brace there connecting those two parts, I think that the unit would be 100% solid and stable, and that would rectify the issue completely. For now, though, I've got to dock a full point for that issue. So for build quality, I give the PLC01 1 out of 2 points. And moving on to the features now. The PLC01 leg extension and leg curl machine does pretty much everything that you would expect from a dual leg curl and leg extension setup designed for home gym use like this. The adjustability that it has available is really nice. You can tweak the settings to match your body size and your anthropometry and get yourself really locked into the machine for some intense and productive work. That being said, one thing I would absolutely love to see in a future iteration here is the ability to perform seated leg curls in addition to the lying leg curls and leg extensions that you can already perform on the machine. So it's not a massive omission, but it would be really nice to add a bit of extra versatility to the machine by also being able to do seated leg curls on it, as they have a slightly different feel and a slightly different strength curve as compared to lying leg curls due to the fact that the hips are flexed in that seated position, which places the hamstrings in a pre-stretched position at the proximal end. So I'm docking just half a point there, which makes the feature score 1.5 out of 2 points. Now, usage and feel is where the PLC01 really shines. So the pulley resistance that the machine uses is insanely smooth. It offers a pretty balanced strength curve as well throughout the entirety of the range of motion, and it just feels good to use this machine and do hard work on it, whether you're doing leg extensions or leg curls. The range of motion that it offers for both movements is also very solid, and because of the good range of adjustability and customization that you have access to, you can get the exact setup that you need to really target your muscles optimally for you as an individual. You can see I'm able to set things up here where I can get a good stretch in the quads at the bottom of my leg extensions with a pretty deep knee bend and actually still have it be under tension there. And it's the same deal for the leg curls. I can set the machine up to where it pulls on the hammies pretty nicely, which guarantees that I'm able to hit that fully extended position at the bottom while still keeping the muscles under tension. So I have zero complaints here. Everything feels really dialed in and exactly how you would want it to be. It's a smooth and balanced resistance with a nice, even and appropriate strength curve. And working hard on this machine just feels really good. So I've been doing a lot of giant sets on it. I've been doing a lot of rest pause work. I've been doing a lot of drop sets and just using a whole bunch of those intensity boosting techniques on this machine, because pushing those types of exercises to the limit and beyond just feels really great on it. Once the issue with the brace gets sorted out, hopefully in the 2.0 version of this product, then this thing is going to actually be next level. So it gets an easy 2 out of 2 points for usage. And finally, let's talk about the value here. So the PLC01 currently retails for $400, which is pretty reasonable considering you're getting access to 2 really solid leg movements and a relatively compact footprint. And that's 2 leg movements that you don't typically have access to in your home gym. So that's a nice little bonus. And don't forget to use code RFONKIRI for 10% off all RitFit sports products. That's a pretty nice discount on this particular unit as well. So if you've got the space and a little bit of extra cash and you're looking to add leg curls and leg extensions to your home gym, take your bulletproofing your knees to the next level, add a little bit of extra meat on your thighs, and just do that fun intensity boosting work, the drop sets, rest pause sets, giant sets like I've been doing. I've really been enjoying it. It's a pretty nice option to have for this machine in general. So that said, these movements, however, are not essential in a home gym setting, right? They're nice to have, they're fun to play with, but they're not mandatory. And that build quality concern that I addressed a little bit earlier in the video does take a little bit away from the overall value of the unit. So I'm going to give it 1.5 out of 2 points for value. All right, so let's tally everything up and see what the final score is. For assembly process, we've got 2 out of 2 points. Build quality is 1 out of 2 points. Features is 1.5 out of 2 points. Usage is also 2 out of 2 points. And value is 1.5 out of 2 points. That brings us to a solid and respectable final score of 8 out of 10 for the RitFit Sports PLC01 leg extension and leg curl machine. they could easily bump that much closer to a perfect score if they get that bracing issue figured out. But overall, this is a really solid machine, especially if you're looking to add some super smooth knee flexion and knee extension work into your home gym. The resistance is super smooth. The strength curve feels really good on the unit. The adjustability is great. You can really get yourself locked in, and it doesn't take a crazy amount of space up in your home gym. The biggest downside is just, again, that flexing brace on the loading arm once you start stacking a bunch of plates onto the machine. But if you are not planning to go super heavy anyway, or your legs aren't all that strong yet, then it shouldn't really be a major issue for you. I do really have high hopes for this piece once they get that issue sorted out though. So would I recommend it as it currently stands? Yeah, I would say that it is a solid buy for sure. You just have to be aware of its current limitations. And who knows, maybe RitFit will come out with that easy fix for that bracing issue in the future. I really, really hope that they do. They've come through before in the past, so this one could easily be sorted out as well. So if you're in the market for one of these bad boys, you want to knock out some solid leg extensions and leg curls in your home gym, be sure to check out RitFit Sports. You can find a link to their website in the description down below. And remember, discount code RF on Enkiri will get you 10% off all RitFit Sports products. That's all I got, guys. I hope you found this review helpful. Please be sure to smash the like button before you go. Leave me some love in the comments down below as well. Check out EnkiriEliteFitness.com for online coaching and awesome training programs. And as always, keep training hard. I will catch you guys next time.